Hey guys, Ryan Wright. So the Daredevil adventure continues. I am on episode 3 right now. Just finished it. Holy shit. I know I'm taking my time with this show because each episode is like a movie. So I like to absorb each episode and let it sink into my subconscious so I could be more creative. Fucking love this show. Right from the opening of this episode, talk about brutality. I love the guy who plays the villain of this episode. I don't remember the guy's name, but he's bald, looks red-headed, Irish sort of looking. Anyway, yeah, he fights the mob boss at the beginning, and he totally just annihilates them because he wants to go bowling, and then oh man, the brutality. He snaps that guy's arm, the bone pops out, and he beats the guy's head with a bowling ball. Holy shit. I have never seen a show that has that brutal of an opening and stylistic at the same fucking time. And then it cuts to the priest and Matt Murdock talking. I like that scene, actually. They don't go back to it, but you can tell the priest is like, hey, I kind of know that you're this vigilante, but because we're in confession, I can't say anything. But if we have a cup of coffee outside of confession and you confess to me, I could report it to the police. So I like how Matt Murdock is smart about it, how he'll keep going to confession, but he's not going to hang out with the priest outside of confession. They introduce Ben, I think is his name. He's the journalist who wants to report on the news when the news was the news. I like how they compare how everything is now internet-based. It's all social media-based, and he's like an old-school journalist who wants to find the good news stories. And that was a great scene when Kingpin's guy, James is his name, and when James decides to go meet up with Matt Murdock and Foggy and ask them to be his lawyers. That was really cool. I love how it all connected. It made sense for them to go to Matt Murdock, to go to their law firm because they're just up and coming, rather than going to people who are already well known. They can start, it's like kind of, I think of like when you initiate a kid into a gang, like you start off when they're young and that way you can just, you know, corrupt their mind over time. That's kind of like what I thought they were trying to do with them. Start them off when they're young, still fresh in the law firm, but get them involved in the bad guy business up front. I love how Matt becomes suspicious of him. It's so cool because the crime lawyer stuff is just as good as the stuff where he's Daredevil. And it all connects perfectly. But then when Matt Murdock decides to take on the client, he's taking on the client that we saw at the beginning of the episode because they want to get him out of jail. Fantastic fucking scene. I love him and Matt Murdock's interaction because that bad guy is so fucking good. His acting is amazing. He's so sincere, and you can see why people might believe his side of the story because he doesn't play it like, hey, I'm a sinister guy who has an evil secret about myself. He plays it like a real human being, but he gives those nice hints letting Matt know, hey, I'm actually in control of the situation. I like where the story's going with Karen, how she was offered money to keep her mouth shut about everything that went on, and then she goes to see the wife of the man who died in her apartment. That was a really good scene because you see that she caved in, and it gives Karen an opportunity to be like, you know what, I could just cave into, accept all the money. If this person's wife is willing to let this secret just go with her, she can do it too. But you can see that there's a story building with her where it's a chance of redemption and doing the right thing. Seriously, like all this stuff with Law and Order is fantastic. When he's able to pick up on that there's someone in the jury who is, you know, probably being corrupted or threatened to plead that this guy is innocent. I really like how they switch that person out, how Daredevil is able to switch that person out. The speech he gives about just laying out the truth, like he's still being a lawyer, sort of defending his client that he knows is wrong, and he wants the guy to be incarcerated, but he gives a speech of truth that is not necessarily defending the lawyer, nor is it necessarily opposing the lawyer. It's just all about truth and facts. And then of course the guy goes, that was a great fight scene between him and Daredevil. That opening fight is great because it really I love the violence in it because it really establishes just how threatening and how brutal this villain is, how he can actually be an opposing threat to Daredevil, to Matt Murdock. So they had a great fight scene. I love when he reveals that it's Wilson Fisk. I love that moment because then the guy just fucking kills himself afterwards through the spike, and he just hits his head on it, which I love because it's really violent. I don't love it just because it's violent. I love it because it's a brutal way to kill yourself. But he was saying like, this Wilson Fisk guy is going to go after everyone that I love. And so he'll do whatever it takes to kill himself right then and there, showing just how fucking scary Wilson Fisk is. The way they're building up Kingpin is brilliant. I love how they gave such a unique touch to introducing Wilson Fisk, where he's looking at the painting and he says that the painting makes him feel lonely. It's so different than what you might expect for an introduction of this kind of criminal mastermind. How he's someone who's like depressed and sad. You know, he has like a feeling of emptiness, and you pick up on all that because Vincent D'Onofrio, I think is his name. He's such a good actor. He transforms into characters. He gets like a couple of lines at the end of this episode, but man, do you get a good grasp of the depth that he has provided for this character. I'm excited to continue this show. Daredevil fucking rocks. If you're new to the channel, you can subscribe to The Real Rejects, and you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, where I'm constantly posting pictures of, what have I not covered yet? My butthole. I post pictures of my butthole.